If you are following real estate right now, you've probably noticed one thing. Sellers are digging in. But could they be digging their own graves? Listings in early 2025 are coming on fast and furious, and inventory levels at the turn of the new year were at their highest levels for any January 1st since 2012. And as the market ticks on, prices have been declining since the second quarter of 2024. But here's the problem. Sellers are choosing to price their homes higher than market value, hoping that that will get them top dollar. But in a market like this, holding on to yesterday's price will cost them more down the road whenever it is they decide to get real about selling. This is because by the time they drop their price to match today's market value, the market will have already moved again lower. So if you're selling right now or thinking of listing soon, this is critical information that you may not want to hear, but I need you to listen. And if you're a buyer in today's market, this could present you opportunities, but only if you know how to navigate the market. So if you're trying to figure out what's next for you in the rapidly changing landscape of the Greater Vancouver real estate market, you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below at a time that works best for you. Or just subscribe to the channel, click the like button so we can get on with diving into the data and what's really happening in today's market. The active residential listings on the market in the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board was 5,117 listings. Now, thankfully, that's way down from over 8,000 listings that we saw in the fall of last year when the market was bloated. And as a result of so many listings on the market, an average but not stellar sales volume, prices across all asset classes have been on a very slow decline since Q2 of last year. But January 1st is always the lowest point in the year for amount of inventory or listings on the market. And since then, already another 553 listings have come back onto the market compared to only 323 during the same period of time in 2024. And unfortunately, sales volume remains almost unchanged. So this means that inventory is going to ratchet up quickly and prices will remain falling for the foreseeable future. They're not dropping fast, but they are dropping. And normally I'm not worried about this at all because this same trend happens every single year. But unfortunately, when the most recent stats were released, I noticed something troubling. This turn of the calendar into 2025 is not only seeing lots of new and expired listings flooding back to the market, but in fact, we've started this year with more inventory on the market than any year since 2012, when there was 5,163 active listings on January 1st. Now, I'm not worried about the market as a whole, but I am worried about how most sellers are digging in their heels, not wanting to face the music, and as a result, they will end up selling for less later on. Now, let's talk about what I'm seeing with actual homeowners in the market right now. Every seller I'm talking to is expecting at least 5, if not 10% more than what their home is actually worth. I mean, you can't really blame them for this. They just want to maximize their sale price so they can move on to their next step in life with a little more money in their pockets. And unfortunately, it's almost every single seller I'm speaking with right now. And after a good conversation about what the market's really doing, some of the sellers are starting to get realistic and they list their properties for sale at fair market value, and they will sell. But many, or what I would probably consider to be the majority, are choosing to list their homes above market value. And that is only going to guarantee them one thing. By the time they do sell, they will have to reduce their price even more than today's price in order to move on. In other words, they will sell for less later on because they are trying to get more now. Now, to illustrate this, let me give you an example. Let's say you're putting your property on the market and it's worth $1 million. Now you choose or want to list for $1.1 million rather than something more reasonable that your agent recommends, like a hot price of say $999 up to about $1,029,000. And unfortunately for you, buyers out there are not stupid and they've got lots to pick from. Nobody is going to overpay for your property. That is the reality of today's informed buyer and the market. And let's say while you're doing this, the market is decreasing 1% per month. You hit the market and 30 days go by. You've had a few showings, but no offers. And finally, you relent to drop your price to $1,049,000. Unfortunately, now your property has decreased in value 1% and is only worth $990,000.
Only?
You get the point. Another 30 days go by, and you finally drop to the high end of what your agent recommended originally at $1,029,000. But the market has continued to decline, and your home is worth just over now about $980,000, meaning you are still $50,000 overpriced, even after dropping your home $70,000. Now, maybe after 3 months on the market, you really need or really want to get moving. So you relent and drop your price to $999,999. And unfortunately, your home is now worth about $970,000 and change. There's the possibility now that you're going to get an offer, say around $950,000, and you smarten up and you negotiate the price to around $970,000, which unfortunately is new market value. But you probably need another month or so because you're viewing that $950,000 as a low ball. And by the time you sell, when you could have sold for about $1 million in January, now it's April and you have ended up taking an offer, say for $965,000, and it turns out you have left $35,000 on the table, and all you got in return was a whole bunch of stress over the last 4 months. And for some reason, it's not your fault, but your agent's. And before you even bring it up, let me say out loud what you are thinking to yourself right now if you're in this situation.
Oh, but interest rates are coming down. That means prices will go up soon.
This is a false statement that you need to stop telling yourself. Interest rates and mortgage rates only come down because the economy is doing poorly. In fact, rates changing up or down historically always fall in line with prices declining. And often price declines don't stop until 6 months after the last rate cut. And prices only tend to go up in times of certainty. In other words, when rates stay the same rate, high or low, for a long period of time. So I'm sorry to have to tell you this if you are a seller, but the longer that you dig in and the more you try and get over market value right now, the less you will sell for in the future. That is just a function of the market and math. And before you go, make sure to check out this video for my proven strategy on how to get your home sold no matter what the market is doing.